Hi everyone, I am back. There was no podcast last week as I was on a short, uh, not quite impromptu, but a short holiday in Cornwall, which is in the southwest of England. I had never been there, and neither had my lovely wife. So we went and we had a nice, chill holiday. We went swimming. As you can see, my hair hasn't quite recovered from that much chlorine after not having been swimming for quite a long time. Doesn't even know what color it is right now. um, so we are back, and business is resuming as usual. If you placed an order while we were away, they have been shipped unless you were notified that it was back ordered. So we went on this trip and it was lovely. We stayed in a caravan and it was really quiet because it's kind of like off peak. We went during the week and school's in session, so it was us and a couple of old fishermen on the site, and that was about it. So it was really nice and quiet. I got some painting done. I did a lot of knitting, which is something that I don't have enough time for in the daily base, like the daily kind of day today. And so it was really nice to kind of get away. And upon returning on last Saturday, upon returning, I immediately started laundry. I immediately put yarn into dye pots, and I was kind of bustling around. And I realized how bad I am at setting boundaries. Obviously, it's a bit different, right? I don't have like an office that you commute to. My home is my office, and my home is also my business. I've got yarn on every surface. We only have a small one bedroom, so it's not even like there's a second room that we could just put all of the business stuff in there and then close the door at the end of the day. That's just it's not an option. We just don't have the room for it. And I was realizing how bad I've become at establishing boundaries with myself because you're always looking around. And whenever I look around, I can see stuff that needs to be done. So right now, if I look in this direction, I can see there's a big pile of yarn on the couch that needs to be twisted and labeled later today. If I look over in that direction, I can see a bunch more yarn that actually needs to be twisted and labeled and packed away for woolen. So I realized how bad I've been at creating boundaries and how it's kind of just burned me out a little bit. Of course, it's difficult when you run your own business, especially when it's kind of a creative business because it's just different, right? People don't expect the same kind of boundaries that they would from a quote more professional uh, career or livelihood. I'm not here to determine what professionalism is. I'm just talking about sort of societal suppositions. Anyway, so I've decided that I need to be better with that kind of thing to sort of, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet because high anxiety plus always being able to see your work kind of means it's difficult. So I don't know, it might just mean that we have to just leave more often, even if it's just for an afternoon, see a movie or something. Uh, so there's we had a dog delivery this morning. There's a dog somewhere in the flat. I think he's with Sarah. We're watching a friend's dog today. I was gonna show him to you, but he doesn't seem he doesn't seem like he wants to hang out with me. He'd rather sleep on the bed. Shock, right? I'd probably rather sleep on the bed than do most things, to be honest. So before we left on our little holiday, I bought a whole bunch of patterns. I think I bought five or six, five for sure, and then the sixth one is one I had been thinking about purchasing. And I think I purchased a little bit earlier. I may have mentioned it before in a podcast. I think maybe, I don't know. So I purchased five patterns because I've been feeling a bit uninspired. I had like two main projects on the go. I had the Northeasterly blanket with the Nihilist Rainbow Club that I've been working on that is really good for cinema or for Netflix knitting. Like once you get into the rhythm of it, it's a really soothing knit. But sometimes you want something a little more challenging. And I had socks on the go, and I'm right at the heel turn, and I didn't feel like turning a heel. I didn't want to go away on holiday and turn a heel. I don't know. There was something about, I was like, no, I want something like new and exciting. So I went on a Ravelry binge. Uh, I mean, of all the kinds of binges you can have, it's probably one of the safest and most responsible, and you're helping support indie designers and small businesses, so consider it a net win. So I bought a bunch of new patterns. I will show them to you presently so that you can decide if you also want to go purchase them. I did mention them during the live stream last Saturday, which is fun, and if you didn't know, you can watch those on catch up. So if you don't manage to catch the live stream while it's actually on, because of time zones or kids or life having one, you can watch them on catch up if you want to just see us chat about random stuff. There usually is a fair bit of yarn chat while we're playing silly trivia games and stuff. So okay, I'm going to show you. So this is the first one that I bought. I think I may have mentioned thinking about buying this one before. I don't actually know. Major shrug. I don't know whether I mentioned it here or at my stitching group. I don't actually know. Also, sorry, this line is bothering me, but hopefully it won't bother you too much. It's because of how I have to have the camera view cropped, otherwise the green screen won't work. Again, because I don't have loads of space. And behind me is just a kitchen table that the green screen is like perilously propped against, which is what happens during the live streams on Saturday too. I don't have like a wall behind me that I can drape a big green screen curtain. It's like a big flippy fold out thing. Anyway, this is the first pattern that I bought. This is the Alaska sweater. She has a hat pattern that I bought like 2 years ago. That has the same kind of motif, but with more of a sort of sunrise or sunset gradient behind. I'm pointing at the screen as if you can see me. A sort of a gradient behind where the trees are. So I bought the sweater because I've not made the hat yet, because I haven't been able to choose what colors I want in that sort of sunset or sunrise gradient as of yet. So I bought the sweater pattern because apparently that's gonna solve my problem. It's not, but so I bought the sweater pattern. It is sort of a 2/3 length sleeve and a bit of a cropped length. I haven't quite decided if I'm gonna have the sleeves be a bit longer. Probably not. I'm probably okay with having the sleeves be that length, but I might knit the body of the sweater to be a bit longer because I find that I'm kind of tall already, so stuff that's designed to be cropped, like just I don't know, it sits on me in a way like I'm not going to talk about what is flattering or not because A, that's subjective, and B, who cares? But for me, it sits in a way that I don't find comfortable. Like it kind of sits like right where you're, I don't know, right in a weird spot, and then I find myself kind of like pulling at it because it doesn't feel, I don't know. Point is, I really like the pattern, but I might make the body a bit longer, or I might just, I don't know whether this is top down or bottom up. No, I think it is top down. So I could try it on as I go and then maybe find a cropped length that I liked. We'll see. I haven't quite decided yet, and obviously I've not decided on colors because I haven't decided on it for a hat, so I sure as hell haven't decided it for a sweater. It is in DK, and I am quite excited about it. She has just done sort of a gray, like a black on gray or a dark gray on gray, as you can see in the picture here. I think that I do want the full like gradation experience with this. I think that it'll look really rad, but I haven't decided on colors because I had this fanciful idea that I was going to use photo inspiration from when I went to the Isle of Skye in the north of Scotland a couple years ago with a friend of mine who taught me about photography and that, and she and I went down to the beach one morning and it was like really fiery and beautiful. And so I thought, oh, well, I'm going to use that for inspiration. But then I couldn't find the yarns that like perfectly matched, and I don't know. Anyway, to be continued. So I bought that one. What else did I buy? I fell in love with this at Perth last September, Perth Festival of Yarn. I fell in love with this last September at Perth because Dye Candy has it as one of her sort of samples. Like she had it as on a mannequin thing. Is that like a spot on my screen? Oh no, that's the that's the green screen. Sorry, just being a bit crazy. Anyway, so Dye Candy has this as one of her samples. I totally fell in love with it, and I thought, oh, like I don't know, if I knit one, is it, kind of ripping off Dye Candy's initial idea? That's silly, of course. This is just, it's a pattern. that was initially knitted up in Skein Queen. And then I went to Unravel the end of last month. That was just about a month ago. Where has this month gone? I do not know. I went to Unravel the end of last month with a couple of people from my knitting group. One of them is Mint Bee, who also sells hand-dyed yarn, but she does like this super cushy, lush silk blends. And our friend Trisha. We went there, and the Volt sweater was hanging out at Sue Stratford's stall stand. And I thought more, I do really like it. I like how punchy it is. I like that it's in Tarja. There's not enough in Tarja in the world. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no, I do want it. I really do want it. So I bought this pattern as well. This is also knitted up in DK. I don't know how well you can see it there. Oh, here's the detail. I want to show you this detail. So this is like cable shaping detail. This is along the bottom, and then here's the sleeve. Look at that. It's so pretty. It's really neat, which I really love how neat that looks. That was what I really loved about the Mecha kits that I collaborated with Anna Nikapirovics last year, about a year ago, was that there was an I-cord edging all along the bind-off edge, and I was like, I-cord. So once I kind of thought about it, I was like, no, I need it. I just do. What else did I buy? I bought this, the For Fox Sake sweater. I want you to look at this yoke. Look at it. Look at it. It's foxes with eyeglasses. I wear eyeglasses, and I like foxes. So even though I was a bit intimidated by the prospect of 3 colors around color work, me and my slow knitting, I bought it anyway, and immediately started collecting the yarn for that. Look at it. It's so cute. I love it. Here's a different kind of set of colors. I did go with the more sort of blue based. I did take most of my inspiration from this kind of palette here. I just felt like it worked best with kind of the oranginess of the fox. I did think about doing something crazy and having like a pink fox, but then I was like, people might not know what it is. They'll just be like, this is a weird thing. What's the why? So I just went with that. And this is by Maxim Sir. He's lovely on Instagram. You should follow him. So I bought that one as well, and it's super cute. I'm really suckered in by these really cutesy yokes. I've been talking to somebody on Instagram who's thinking about creating a chart to help people put in like a D20 for, like tabletop gaming into a yoked pattern, which is brilliant. She's also the person who I nicked the idea to put a TARDIS into my Vinterskov back at Christmas. It was her chart that I nicked from Ravelry, so she's obviously onto something. But yeah, cutesy yokes, I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it. What else did I buy? I bought this pattern that I saw from, I think It's a Stitch Up posted it up on Facebook. Yes, because it is in It's a Stitch Up and Countess Blaze. This is just a really fun. I've been trying to kind of step a little bit more away from shawls because I don't tend to wear them that much. I don't know. I have several, right? I have several. I tend to run a bit hot anyway. It's not been cold enough this winter to really need to bundle up. Not where I am. I mean, obviously, if you live up north or some places in the US that got totally slammed with really frigid weather, you're gonna have a different opinion than me. But it didn't get that chilly here in the southeast of England. But I really like the way that the lines kind of dart in and out. Here, I'll give you more of a close-up. I really like how the lines dart in and out. And I like the different textures and these sort of little chevron-y bits in the middle here. So I bought that one. I haven't decided on yarns or anything yet. This will be something that I cast on, I don't know, at some point. So I bought that one, and that's by Jane Murison. What else did I buy? What tab am I on? This tab. I also bought this pattern by Julie that's in Paris. It's called More Caffeine, Please. And I'm pretty sure she designed this as a like a companion to a shawl that she designed, but I really love the kind of goofy short row asymmetrical design of this hat. So it kind of sits on your head a bit different, right? It's fun. But it's kind of meant to be a bit more of a stash busting pattern, and I do have a bunch of random oddments of sock yarn that is just kind of hanging around from pairs of socks that I made or other projects. I think I've got some Practical Magic hanging around from those herringbone mitts that I never finished. And I have some spoopy left over from Halloween socks I made, and just, you know, various bits of here and there. So I was thinking I might use that as a bit of a stash busting pattern. Right, and then this is the one that I don't know if I mentioned buying this one or not, because I didn't buy it last week. I think I bought it before. So this is Wolf River. This is a chunky weight sweater with lace in it, which is intriguing. I don't tend to knit much lace because I'm not very good at it. I think the thing with lace is that I have to just stop trying to think about what's happening and why it's happening, and I need to just do it. Just follow the pattern, follow the chart, and just turn my brain off. Otherwise, I end up, I don't know, overthinking it and then messing it up because I've overthought it. It's not a good look. I also have to put like stitch markers in before every repeat, otherwise I mess things up. Regardless of how easy the pattern is. But I saw this and it's really intriguing because I like the idea of more sort of Aran and chunky weight garments. I don't know. So anyway, I like it. I like the detailing here. It's a little shorter than I'd usually wear for a sweater, but I don't know, I might just kind of go with it and see. I'm not actually sure the construction on this one because I've not opened up the pattern and had a look at it yet. I had initially thought that I was going to knit this in my Don't Blink colorway on Chunky Merino, which is green, and then I remembered that I need a green intervention, so I decided to use, I think I've got TARDIS in Flight, which is more of a blue, so I might use that one instead. I haven't quite decided yet. So that'll end up getting cast on at some point in a chunky weight. I do really enjoy it. It's kind of different from stuff that I would usually knit for myself to wear, so I don't know, we'll see. I don't usually wear much knitwear when I'm doing this podcast. I probably should, but most of my stuff is green, which is why I can't wear it, because then you wouldn't be able to see, like, the bottom half of me. I would just be a random floating, washed out head. So that was the other pattern that I purchased on Ravelry before we left. So I threw myself a little bit of a StartyParty, which is a term that I first heard in the Everyday Knitter group on Facebook. I decided I was going to start more than one new thing while away on holiday, and thusly I did. So here, let me pull it out. There was the first thing that I knit. Let me attempt to not drop any stitches off. I need to switch the cord out. The cord's too, this cord is too short. So everything's kind of bunched up because I forgot when we went on holiday, I forgot to toss I pulled out the longer cord. I pulled it out and I was like, right, must remember to throw that into my knitting bag. Didn't, left it on the table. So I did, to cope with a shorter cord, so I still need to switch it out. So as you can see, I cast on the For Fox Sake sweater. I've gotten to the point now where this is like sort of the fox's tail and like the little ears coming in here. I will say I am mega slow. Each round is taking me about 45 minutes, so this is already a significant amount of work. So if I ever had to frog it, I think I would just cry. Let me minimize this page. I think I would just cry instead of actually start over. So I'm really pleased with the colors that I've chosen. These are all of mine. These are all my yarns. So the dark blue is Deep Space, the gray kind of up here, and then other bits is Mecha. The orange is Brahmin, and then the ears and some other little bits is actually a last minute dye because I decided that mammoths in the sky would look amazing as the ears and the little foxy faces. As it's quite, the pattern itself calls for a white. Mammoth in the Sky is actually a really pale blue with flecks of kind of amber in it, and I thought that would look amazing for little foxy faces. So the day before we left, I actually had it in the dye pot, and then I was like hair drying it to get it dry enough to wind it on the yarn winder. So what we do for what we love, right? So I've cast that on, and if you can see, I've done, I don't know how, this is probably not a fair amount of work for most people, but this has taken me a million years. It took me the whole drive up there and the whole drive back and significant amounts of time while we were away. So I'm just going to carry on with that. It is pretty addictive, like once you get into it, because you just want to keep doing the next round, see how the color work comes up. And as much as I'm complaining about it being a bit slow now, I know that once the color work portion is over and I just have miles of plain knitting to do, I'm going to be like, ugh. So, I mean, that's just the human condition, isn't it? People with curly hair want straight, vice versa. You want your color work to be done, but you don't want to be knitting the plain knitting. I don't know. So, I'm quite excited about that. I do have some kind of like weird bumpiness going on in the rounds where I increase. Let's not drop stitches on camera, shall we, Ange? I do have some weird bumpiness where during the increase rounds, that was weird. Earlier on, I'm assuming and hoping, fingers crossed, that will block out. You can't really see it on camera, but I can see it and it's annoying. But I'm pretty sure it'll block out because like it's not the floats that are being too tight or anything. It is like the weird way that I did increases. So I'm quite pleased with that. I'm excited. Stay tuned. This will definitely not be a finished object anytime soon because of the amount of time it takes me to do each round. I got a fair bit done when we were away because I didn't have anything else to do except sit around, listen to audiobooks. I've been listening to Becoming by Michelle Obama, which is quite a compelling listen. She narrates the book herself. So I was listening to a lot of that, and then obviously up there and back, Sarah was driving, so I got to knit in the car while we listened to podcasts. So I won't be getting that amount of exponential progress came to a swift halt as soon as we got home. I've only done a few rounds since we got back, so I'm hoping to definitely carve some time out for that though. On the way back, I also cast on that Volt sweater from Sue Stratford. I've not done much on it yet. I've just done the ribbing of the front. There we go. I've only done the ribbing of the front for this one so far, so I mean, that's not exciting, is it? It's just ribbing. But I didn't want to have like two different color work things on the go at the same time. So I think I might try and get through the rest of the color work of the For Fox's Sake before I carry on. I don't know, maybe that's a weird barrier I've created for myself for no reason. So I'm quite excited. It makes a cool headband. I'm quite excited with the colors that I've chosen. One of them you won't be able to see because it's kind of like a limeish green. So I've chosen, well, you can't see this one either. This is blue. That's not fair green screen. Rude. This is blue. You'll just have to look at my Instagram. This is an aqua blue, and then I also have like a limey green, which you also can't see. So that's going to be the actual, I've chosen the blue for the main body of the Thunderbolt in that pattern, and the other sort of variegated green and blue as the kind of like shadow that goes just to the left of it. Well, left if you're looking. So I did that, and I did a bunch of the ribbing, and those colors are, the purple is called Nom Berry, which is from the Semi-Solids collection. The blue is Coastal Kraken, also from the Semi-Solids collection. And the variegated sort of greeny blue with speckles is called Catra, which is from the She-Ra DK sock update, which was 2-ish months ago. I don't know, an amount of time ago. Catra is probably my favorite from that collection, which, if you know anything about my Instagram, I don't know, that's kind of a weird thing to say. Basically, I already used Catra for one project, and now I've sniped another skein from Stash to do this one as well. The other project that I did was a lime green brioche cat hat, which you carry along a textured yarn, and I used a skein of ectoplasm monster floof with that. It is a super cute hat, but it is mega warm because it's mohair and wool. And like I said, it's not been super cold since I've knit that, so it sits. As far as progress goes, I will show you the socks I have been working on. I am to the heel turn, and I need to make decisions on what heel turn to use. In the past, I've always been kind of a short row heel sock knitter, but I kind of want to try something else to see if I find something that I like the fit better for. I've heard that the Flegel heel is a good choice, so I found a tutorial, and I think I am gonna try that when I actually pick these up again. So these are the socks that I've been working on. This is with an emo rainbow sock blank. I wasn't gonna use one of these until somebody on Instagram posted her emo rainbow socks with a sock blank, and I was like, no, I need them. So these sock blanks are double-stranded, which is why these socks look like they're knitting. They're not 2 at a time on the same cord because I did that once and I hated it. I felt like I spent more time fiddling with pulling the cords this way and that than I did actually knitting them. So I opted, I'm just gonna shift. So I opted to not do 2 at a time on the same cord. My method is to kind of, well, with this double-stranded sock blank, it's a bit different because I didn't wind them into balls initially. Probably should have, but I didn't. So I'll do, 5 rows on one sock, and then I'll do 5 rows on the other sock to keep the tension coming off the sock blank relatively stable. So, but I am at the heel turn for those now, and I need to decide a heel. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go with the Flegel heel just to give it a shot and see if I like it. Other heels I've tried, like I said, I've mostly done short row heels. I did do a sweet tomato heel once, but I didn't love the fit of that on my foot. I did, however, use the sweet tomato heel method once to turn a horn on a Viking hat, so. And then I have been working on my northeasterly, which I'm using my Nihilist Rainbow Blanket Club for. So I was trying to do a bit of catching up while we were away because I fell mega behind in March and I didn't do any of my February colors. So I have I finally gotten to the part where I'm starting to attach a second column. And it is actually quite addictive to try to get to that end and pull it in. So I did, however, look at this giant dropped stitch. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. This huge drop stitch. That's because I was knitting in the dark after a couple of G&Ts, and that was a bad plan. So I'm gonna have to go back and pick that up and fix it. So I'm making this to be super mega long. It's huge. I love it. I can't wait until the end of the year when it's all done. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to rush to the end of the year. I have plenty of things that need doing before we get there, but I'm just going to be excited to, to have an enormous, huge, smushy blanket that I can hoard from my wife. In any case, so those, that's sort of my starty party with the 2 new cast-ons and progress with the stuff that I think I showed a few weeks back. And so I am going to move on to talk a little bit about shop talk. So this is going to be kind of a new segment, I guess, in the podcast, where I'm going to kind of talk about what I've been up to with regards to dyeing and kind of the seedy underbelly of the business. It's not really that seedy. It's, mostly paying invoices and and comparing prices on packaging materials. It's not super thrilling, MI5 type stuff. So anyway, I have been dyeing this week since we got back. I have been dyeing the clubs that are set to go out this week. So that's the Mystery Club, the Blanket Club, and the Mini Skein Club. I was like, there's another one. So those 3 will be going out this week. The Blanket Clubs are already dried and labeled. They're ready to go. I just need to put them in bags and put labels on them. The bags, shipping bags. The Mystery Clubs, they are mostly done. I think I have a couple things that are still in the drying tower over in that direction. And I got the extras and they're amazing. I was thinking that I would start doing like a monthly club reveal thing where I just do like a short 5-minute video being like, here was the mystery club, here was the blanket club, and here was the mini skating club. Thanks, sign up next month. Bye. Just for people who would like to see them, because I know sometimes people aren't super keen on sharing stuff on social media because they're afraid that they're going to spoil someone. But if I have it as a video here on YouTube, anyone who wanted to watch it could. But if you knew you didn't want to watch it, you just wouldn't. So I'm thinking I might do that. Anyway, so let's see what else. The OTP launch was, I think, a couple days before we left, or a few days before we left. I don't know, sometime. Not very long, less than a week before we left. Most of it is gone. There's still a few things left if you are reaching the end of the month and you're hoping for a little squish purchase. There is some stuff left. There were 10, yes. There were 10 different shades. Let me pull that up for you. So there were 10 different shades in the OTP launch. We had up here that was Lapidot, and then we had Zabriel, Janeway of 9, we had Twillow, Stucky, there was Ivy Quinn, Supercorp, Storm Pilot, behind my head is Bubbling. So those were 10 different sort of slash fic pairings that ended up in the OTP collection, which was non-repeatable. So once those are gone, that's it. I'm not going to do them again. And it was just to kind of see if that would be a feasible way to kind of inject some fun into the day-to-day shop stuff without having to worry too much about repeating things and so on and so forth, if that makes sense. So, anyway, so there's still, like I was just saying, there's still a few bits here and there of that left. I was gonna steal the Janeway of 9 chunky for myself, and like right as I was reaching for it, somebody bought it. So whoever that was, thank you, you saved me from myself. Which is quite funny. Since we've been back, I've been working on a custom wholesale order for Diana of the Crochet Chain. We collaborated on a project last summer. Well, I dyed the yarn for her earlier, but I think she launched it last summer. It was part of her 1 skein, 2 skein, 3 skein ebook collection. They're all crochet patterns, i.e. the Crochet Chain. Clues in the name. So it was a custom dye that I did for her. It's all hand painted for the main skein. It was called Marizaya, and it's really pretty. It ends up kind of being like a big sort of fish fin rainbow thing. But she was on Hochanda, which is a craft-based TV shopping channel. She was on there last weekend or the weekend before, and they ran a rerun, so I was dyeing up an extra set for her because they oversold the kit, so I was working on that, and she will be picking those up later. But definitely check that out if you are interested. I think you can still get the kits from their website. I won't be selling them on my website anymore, so you'll have to get them from Diana if you're looking for a Marazion kit. What else have I been working on? The yarn for myself, the For Fox's Sake yarn, where I decided to put mammoths in the sky onto a DK base because I thought it would look amazing, and so far it is. But that wasn't something I was really planning on doing. I was just like, no, I need it. It needs to be mammoths in the sky. I couldn't think of anything else that would be better. So, what else have I been working on? I'm starting to build up some stuff for Woolen, which is in June. It might seem a little early, but I'm gone for most of May. I will be in Italy dealing with some citizenship passport stuff to kind of help insulate us from the magnitude of problems brought in by Brexit. So it's just a way to kind of help retain our rights no matter what happens, as ever nobody knows what's going on right now anyway, but you know, it is what it is. So I will be gone most of May, so I'm having to do a lot of woolen dyeing now. So there's basically just like yarn everywhere that I need to figure out. Like, I need to pack it away somewhere until June, but don't know where that's gonna be. Just, start storing yarn. I don't know. Under the couch? There's no room under the couch. That's a joke. So I've been working on that. I am very excited about the Perth Festival of Yarn announcements this Saturday on the 30th to see who all of the teachers and the talk givers are going to be. I know a couple have been announced already. Jeanette Sloan and Aroha Knits, aka Frenchie, will be there teaching, but the rest haven't been announced yet, so that will be exciting on Saturday. What else has been going on? Right, so I did a while back have these made. You can't see a couple of them because my head's in the way. So these are the social justice class pins that I decided to do because I thought it was funny that every time you try to kind of stand up for marginalized people, there's always somebody who's going to be like, oh, well, you're just a social justice warrior. And I'm like, excuse you, sir. I'm a social justice druid. How dare you? So don't just bounce up in here thinking that you know my class. Get out. So I created these social justice pin badges. So they're like these kinds of pin badges. Come on, focus, camera. Oh, that picked the wrong one because that one's got a lot of green in it. Here, how about this one? Yeah, social justice mage. So there's 9 different ones. And that is a charity initiative. A portion of the profits from those are going to like civil liberties type charities. Both here in the UK and in the US will split. We'll split the charity. The charity giving. Obviously, the US is where I'm from, but I live here now, so those are all available. I am holding some of them back for woolen because there's only so much time that I have, especially being gone most of May, to get stuff done beforehand. If you consider that Sarah and I did all the art for these pins, but we didn't stamp the pins ourselves. We don't have the contraption to do that, so we have to send them to somebody who then just converts art into pin. And when you consider lead times and that, it becomes a bit stressful. So anyway, so these are up. And then there's also, I was showing everyone yesterday on Facebook and Instagram, I got the mock-ups for you can't see all of these. There we go. I got the mock-ups from the manufacturer for the Pride pins that we're having made. Again, it's a charity initiative. We'll be giving a portion of profits to LGBT-based charities. So they're all, I think they're all 35 millimeters wide. So, which is, I don't know, it's kind of a medium size. These are enamel pin badges. So these are the nicer, sturdier. These are going to be glittery pins. So, and the lead time on these is mega long. We submitted the art a month ago, and we're just now getting around to getting the mock-ups and everything, because there's quite a lot of people in the queue ahead of us, I think. So as you can see, we've got rainbow glitter that says knit, we've got rainbow glitter that says hook, and then we have pan-stitchual, bi-stitchual, and homo-stitchual. And those are all in sort of their specific pride flag colors. So Sarah did the art for these. I think I did a flag one, but those are easy. I just was basically coloring in rectangles. It's it was more getting the sizing and stuff right. But the other ones that are more artistic, Sarah did those, and basically we want to be more inclusive. We have other ones designed for both ace and trans. These are quite expensive to produce off the bat. You have to order them in bulk to make it financially viable, and if you're considering it's quite substantial per pin, we have 5 of them, so it was quite a substantial put out of money to begin with, which is always when you're a small business, it's a bit scary. So the first 5 that we chose based on a poll that I did on Instagram. So people were voting for the ones that they that they would purchase first to kind of make it slightly less scary that we are dropping a huge chunk of change on having these made. So the other ones, assuming like we don't lose loads of money once these come in and they're available, we will have the other ones made as well. But like I said, the lead time on these is super long, so even if these sell quite well, it'll still be probably a few months at least before we get the other ones. So that's exciting. I'm pretty amped about that. I will be holding some back for woolen because there would definitely not be time to reorder them if they were to all sell out beforehand. So I was thinking about opening pre-orders, which I will probably do once I have a definitive, or not definitive, but an estimated delivery date. I know that they're in production now, so they're being made now, but I don't know when they will finish being made. I don't know how long the process is and how long it'll take to get here. So once I have more of an idea, then I can open pre-orders for those who want to make sure that they get one. They will, well, as far as I know, they'll definitely be here by mid-May. So yeah. But like I said, long lead time on these. They take a while. Just due to how they get made, I guess. I don't have the equipment to make enamel pins, so my knowledge is frustratingly limited. So anyway, so that's exciting. I'm pretty excited about that. I've had a lot of people say that they're excited. Oh, by the way, those rainbows up there, all the colors are glitter. Like all the rainbow flag colors are glitter. And then so on the, and then the background of both the pan and the bi-stitchule is going to be glittery, and then the scissors, the homo-stitchule, don't laugh. I think it's hysterical. I asked Sarah to do it and she was like, I don't know, it might be a bit much. And I was like, it's really funny. So yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on behind the scenes as we sort of prepare for woolen and for me to be gone a lot of May. Sarah will be taking over a lot of the kind of day-to-day. I mean, she does a lot of the day-to-day anyway with regards to packing and shipping. But she'll probably take over the Instagram and she'll, I don't know. Who knows what she'll do? She's a renegade. She might go rogue. So she might go rogue and turn it into an Instagram for, I don't know, I can't think of anything weird enough. She's pretty sensible. Right. So I also wanted to talk very quickly, well, not that quickly. Another new kind of segment that I wanted to have in the weekly podcast is kind of what media I am partaking of. So, you know, books, video games, music, etc. Okay, so I wanted to talk a bit about a game I've been playing for the last few weeks. It's called Far Cry New Dawn. I've not ever played a Far Cry game before I've played this one. This is basically the cover image that I saw as I was perusing for, I don't know, some other game I was looking for. And I saw this and I was like, that looks really awesome. You don't see enough people of color in video games. You just don't. You straight up don't. So and that's a saw launcher. Like, that's ridiculous and cool. So like I said, I've not played a Far Cry game before, so I bought this one. Unfortunately, the two women in the promotion shot here are the two main, like, villains of the game. And I was like, no, they seem so cool. I just, like, want to be their friend. Like, I'll join their, like, post-apocalypse gang. They look like they know what's up. So, anyway, so I've been playing the game. It is quite good. There is a significant amount of diversity, more than in past Far Cry games, for sure. I will say, though, that the only, like, music plays a bit of a part in the game, that, like, once you, like, take over a camp, it'll start playing kind of like, you know, sort of 50s-ish, like, Beach Boys and kind of the Drifters and, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of music. But then the other camps, they're called Mickey and Lou. They're twin sisters. The camps that Mickey and Lou run, it's like hip-hop and rap. And so even though there's quite a lot of diversity across both factions, it still feels kind of coded, like racially coded, in ways that people don't particularly want to unpack, which is it's cringe and it's unfortunate, and it just feels like a lazy way to code things. Like, rap and hip-hop, they must be bad, and, you know, renegades, and they are murderers, and we are lovely people played the Beach Boys. No, stop. Like, it's lazy and it's not great. But other than that, I do enjoy, you can see here in the image, there's quite a lot of pink. So like the whole game is kind of like a wash in these like hot pink flowers, which I feel is kind of like and all the graffiti around their camps is hot pink as well, which I feel is kind of an interesting way to sort of flip femininity on its head, because they're not nice in the game. They aren't nice girly girls. They're pretty horrible, actually, quite brutal. So anyway, it is a good game. There is diversity on both sides, so it's not like a, you know, race faction thing, but it was just the coding of the music that I thought was a bit cringe. But the gameplay is pretty good. I'm at to a point now where I keep failing certain missions, so I'm taking a bit of a break from it to play. I've taken a bit of a break from Far Cry New Dawn to play Frostpunk, which is a kind of town management kind of game, which is the kind of thing that appeals to my type A nature. So of course I lost like a whole day and a half to playing Frostpunk. It is quite difficult. I had to have it on one of the easier settings, because on the most difficult setting I was like, everyone keeps dying and I can't keep them alive. I'm a terrible leader, so slight crisis. So Frostpunk's really fun for that. It did not want to run on my old PC, and I had bought it then and then asked for a refund because it wouldn't run on my PC. But with our newer PC, which is really shiny and much more spec'd to do things like streaming and and podcasts and things that the other PC could handle, Frostpunk is really beautiful. So if you're into sort of like management games, like managing resources and building up towns and stuff, then you'll probably really like Frostpunk. I also tried a game called Ark, but it was terrible. It took me forever to install it, like 40 minutes. This is a game that I bought when it was in early release, like 3 years ago, over 3 years ago. And I think I paid about £12 for the game and its first expansion. And then promptly forgot about it. And I was going through my Steam library, and I thought, oh well, I should probably play this, because I've heard people talking about it. I went to play it. It took like 40 minutes to install, which is ridiculous. And then once I got in, I had no idea what was going on. And then I realized that it was more of like, I don't know, I bought it because I thought that it was more of like a survival crafting sort of game, which I like, the sort of survivally collect and craft, but it's actually more of kind of like a battle royale game, which I detest. Like, it always ends up being gross and toxic, and so I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, I don't know, maybe people will be cooperative if I pick this slightly less aggressive kind of server. And then in like the waiting room before the game begins, there was no less than 2 characters that had slurs as their names, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. If this game's not even going to like block certain words from being used as a player name, like, it's not hard. It's not even like these words were like cleverly misspelled to get around filters. It was just straight up, that's what it was. Cool, racial slurs, great. So that was sarcasm, by the way. So I played like about 5 minutes, and I was like, no. But this game is so expensive. It's like, if you wanted that game and that expansion now, it's like £70. That's obscene. Like, the graphics aren't even that good. If you really love Ark, I'm sorry that I'm telling everyone how terrible it is, but I don't usually hold games in super high regard that allow people to choose slurs as their display player names. It's just not great. This isn't even like something that it's like, ooh, maybe bad taste, like straight up slurs. Like I said, not even cleverly, misspelled to get around censors, just flat out, that's what it was. And I find that usually if a game's not interested in at least preventing that, then they're not going to be that interested about keeping it from being a really gross, toxic space anyway. Which is why I don't really play those kind of battle royale games, because they're exhausting, and it really makes me lose all faith in humanity and the gaming community as a whole. And it just leaves me feeling like, this, like, we've made some strides, but it's still terrible, and we still have, like, way longer to go. So 0 out of 10, do not recommend. I recommend the other games I talked about. I don't recommend that one. As far as music, I've been listening to a lot of Waylon Jennings lately, which is they're like a women's acapella. Well, they're not always acapella. A women's folk group. Lots of harmonies and stuff. I've liked them for a long time, but I've been kind of in a nostalgic mood lately. And let's talk, right? As far as watching things, let's talk about Captain Motherforking Marvel. I freaking loved it. I'm sure you're shocked to hear that I loved a Marvel movie with a woman at the epicenter. But it was so good. The messaging behind it was fantastic. I feel even more annoyed now that there was people trying to give it bad reviews before it was released just because there's a girl in it and she has superpowers. Like, it's 2019. Can we not with that? I mean, it's kind of a tired argument now anyway. Oh, it's pandering. We're half the population. For God's sake. It's not pandering when you're half the population. Oh my god. So, we went to go see Captain Marvel. Just before we left on holiday, I basically decided I didn't want to do any adulting or any of my work, and I basically was like, let's go see a movie, let's get lunch, let's just blow off the entire afternoon. And I was quite happy that Sarah went along with my childish nonsense. So we went to see Captain Marvel. It was amazing. I loved it. I don't want to get too spoilery because a lot of people still haven't seen it, especially with Marvel movies. Some people like to wait a few weeks after it's been out so that it's not super mega packed. We did go during the day, so there was only like 2 other people in the whole theater, which was really nice. It's nice to just to not be crowded. So yeah, Captain Marvel, definitely go see it. The messaging in it around kind of like being emotional is, I think, something a lot of women can relate to with how we interact and interface with people on a daily basis, both with our families, friends, and jobs, etc. Definitely fantastic. Definitely go see it. I think that we will definitely go see it in cinema again, because with movies that I really love, I like to kind of support them if I can. And we don't go to the cinema that often, if I'm honest. We did see Ocean's 8 like 3 times in cinema, but Ocean's 8 was so good. Yeah, so definitely go see Captain Marvel. It was amazing. It was like transformative. I thought it was so good. If you disagree with me, that's fine, but you're wrong. But yeah, no, Captain Marvel was amazing. I loved it. Definitely go see it if you have a chance. That's all I can say about it without getting spoilery. Like, I could dig into the theories. Oh, I can say this. I remember now. I was like, there was something else I was gonna say. So basically, in comics, right? So not the Marvel movies or the MCU, but in the comics, the first Captain Marvel was a black woman, a woman of color called Monica Rambeau. So I do find it obnoxious that they've now kind of like retconned that, and they're like, Brie Larson is the first Captain Marvel. Brie Larson was amazing in the role, don't get me wrong. But, like, really? Was it necessary? I mean, Hollywood. However, I will say that this isn't super spoilery, but in the movie, there's a young girl, whose name is Monica Rambeau, so I'm kind of hoping that they do something sometime with that eventually. I hope it's not just like a quiet nod to being like, yeah, sorry that we totally whitewashed this role. I hope they actually do something with it, because it would be kind of sad to just have it be just a quiet nod and nothing else. So yeah, that's what I was gonna say about that. But yeah, no, it was good. Everybody's saying that, oh no, it was really bad and it's not funny. It is funny. It's not like Thor Ragnarok funny. It's different funny. But Thor Ragnarok is, I mean, it's Thor. Like, the whole point of that is that it's a bit silly and goofy and unexpected in that kind of way. If you've seen on Twitter, there's a lot of people that are that are sort of slash shipping Captain Marvel and Valkyrie, which I would totally be here for. Like, Tessa Thompson and Brie Larson, yes. I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not, but it would be awesome. Especially as they didn't have Sif in Thor Ragnarok. What the heck, Marvel? All right, I'm gonna wrap it up before I get too far down this train of geek thought. So anyway, so those are two little sort of, I guess, snippets that I'll have in most podcasts. So both the sort of shop talk behind the scenes and sort of what I've been playing slash listening to slash watching. I did mention the Becoming by Michelle Obama, which is the audiobook I've been listening to. I did mention that earlier in the podcast. It's really good. It's a really interesting insight behind what actually happens in the White House with regards to the first family and stuff that you didn't really realize about them getting, you know, itemized bills for the food that they eat and that kind of thing. Anyway, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I will say, if you are free on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. GMT, I think we're gonna have to change to like British summertime because of daylight savings next week. But GMT, 9 p.m. on Saturdays, we've been doing live streams. There's yarn chat, there's trivia, there's a lot of just random stuff, but it's a lot of fun. We have been playing a game called Eric the Unready, which is like a comical RPG game from the 90s. But this weekend, I think we're going to be doing something a bit silly. I've been playing the Jurassic Park builder game, and I was thinking it might be funny to just like let T-Rexes loose in my park and see what happens. And then we also play a fair amount of Oregon Trail. So I keep thinking that y'all are gonna get bored of Oregon Trail, and you don't. So we've been slightly making Oregon Trail harder and harder every week. So we'll see. We'll see how long we survive. So join us on Saturday nights if you can. You can also watch it on catch up. I keep them up on the stream if you're interested. Keep your eyes open for the February club reveals that I'll probably do at some point this week. And go watch Captain Marvel. Do it. You won't regret it, probably. Well, you won't. I don't think you'll regret it. It's a good movie. Yeah. So drop me a comment. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you think, etc. Like and subscribe, all that stuff that you have to say when you are making a YouTube podcast. And like, share it with your friends so that I have an excuse to continue procrastinating week on week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you on Saturday and next week.